This is More Knowledge, More Wealth with your host, Gabriel Shahin. Gabriel is a certified financial planner and a registered investment advisor at Falcon Wealth Planning. This show does not intend to provide personalized investment advice through this broadcast and does not represent that the services or securities discussed are suitable for any investor. Investors are advised not to rely on any information contained in the broadcast in the process of making a full informed investment decision. Now here's your host, Gabriel Shahin.
Good day. This is Gabriel Shahin, certified financial planner and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth here on every weekend, talking about all important topics of personal finance. My job is to go over the knowledge you need to increase your wealth. Now, to the listener, you can always reach out to myself or any one of our colleagues here at Falcon Wealth Planning. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, where you can go on our Knowledge Center, which gives you a direct link to YouTube, where we've had well over 1 million views, multiple videos that help answer the questions that you have. And if you want to put an inquiry so we can talk about it on the show or create a Knowledge Center video, please send your inquiry to radio@falconwp.com. That's radio@falconwp.com. And also you can go get this episode, any one of our previous episodes on Spotify, podcasts, you name it, folks. Now, I'm the president of Falcon Wealth Planning. We are a fee-only, non-commission, true fiduciary, folks. And we talk about all important topics of personal finance. That's where you are today, how retirement looks like, investments, estate planning, insurance, folks, you name it. Anything that involves a dollar sign, we can help you with. And we are offering 1 to 2 meetings, 1 to 2 hours of our time, folks, at no cost to help relate this show to your specific situation. And we have offices all across the country that we can help you with. Folks, give us a buzz. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird, where we can help answer those questions that you have to help with your financial situation. Well, there you have it, folks. The election season is done. And we have now President Donald Trump as the victor for the next 4 years, where half of the country is absolutely upset. They cannot believe it. They are condemning this president and his hate speech and so on, and just they don't feel he's a good leader. The other half is finally saying, thank you. We got the change we needed, and we are going in the right direction. We want to make, get ready for it, America great again. So I get it. Half the country's upset, half of them are absolutely ecstatic. Now, what impact did it have? Well, oh my God, I don't care if you're voting for Kamala Harris or Trump. The Dow Jones that Wednesday was up 3.5%. S&P 500, 2.5%. NASDAQ up almost 3%, where the Dow at record highs 43,700, S&P 500 around 6,000, and NASDAQ at 19,000 roughly. And you had Bitcoin that was up around 7%, hitting 75,000 points. I mean, guys, it sounds like you should be pretty happy. Now, international markets were down, right? Because now people are worried about tariffs, so on and so forth. I get that. And then you had mid-caps up 3%, and then you had small-cap companies up roughly 5% on the day after the elections. Who's upset about that? Like, put politics aside. The markets are happy now. Why are they happy? They're happy because there's no chaos. It's pretty clear that Trump won. He won the popular vote in addition to the electoral votes, to the majority of the electoral votes as well. So what are we really upset about here if the market is happy that there's no chaos, that there's no voter fraud? There's none of this because he won in such a convincing fashion. So let's take a step back. The market is happy because now they know, right or wrong, you like them or not, they understand what they're dealing with for the next 4 years. So you got to think to yourself, if the market is happy, if the market is seeing positive things, the market is smarter than everybody. Sure, we dictate the market, but now you're seeing positive signs all the way all throughout, you're seeing positive signs. Because you have certain policies that are in place. You have an economic mind impact of how you're going to deal with the taxes that are going to be changing and sunsetting in 2026. Estate planning issues, inflation issues, monetary policy and fiscal policy issues with the interest rates, and so on. So let's look at the positive. Plus immigration, plus cracking down on crime. You have a lot of positive things going in effect. Now, is President Trump a loudmouth, narcissistic, arguably at times a bigot? Yeah, I think he's a bigger problem than Kamala would have been. But when you look at the policies and what that means for you and your pocketbook, the markets like it. The economy likes it. There are policies in place that you should focus on the positive. Nobody is perfect. You could probably pick on the ones you love the most if you're in a bad mood, right? Sometimes a bad day from work, you come home, you're picking on somebody, or just in a bad mood. We're not saying you're a bad person, you're bullying anybody. I'm just saying you could find the perfect person in the world and pick on them if you really wanted to. So let's look at the positive of where we're at right now. The positive is we know who the president is for the next 4 years, convincingly. By the way, folks, if you're just joining me, you're listening to Gabriel Shahin, certified financial planner, and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth here on every weekend. We're talking about all important topics of personal finance. We're talking about right now, outside of international markets and gold. Now, why was gold rising in prices? There could be a lot of reasons for that. But at the end of it, people were not feeling that good about the U.S. economy. They were shifting money into gold. And because of the supply and demand curves, what was happening? Gold prices were going up. So, sure, you have treasury rates and so on that are going up as well. It's weird because prime rate dropped by 50 basis points, and yet the treasury is going up. Interesting. You have oil that's up about 5%. Gold is down 3% on that same logic. You have multiple different indices right now that are happy of what's going on. Yet again, I'm not trying to say you should be happy about Trump. I'm trying to say you should be happy about what's going on in your pocketbook right now. With Bitcoin up almost 8% as I'm actually looking at it since the elections. And you still do have a big hike in Treasury, 10-year Treasury at almost 4.5%. Well, why is that important? That's more expensive, right, for buying a home because mortgages are based on that, on the 10-year Treasury. But after all the headache, all the drama, the most expensive election of all time at $10 billion spent between the two parties, we finally have our victor. And the idea with all this is, what does this do for you? We've seen the markets go up. Did you miss out? Say, I'm not going to do anything until after the election. This is why we say, do not mix politics and investments. It's your fault. You think you're too smart. Actually, you are too smart because you're thinking logically. But look what you missed out on. By the way, same thing happened when Biden was in office, 4 years ago. Same thing happened when Trump was in office 4 years prior to that. It always seems to do that route because the market likes stability because they can adjust. What they don't want is chaos, right? Remember January 6th of 2020? Yeah, that was chaos, right? Or was it 21? Who cares? The Capitol storming of the building. It was 2021. So the idea was what? Oh, uncertainty. Was it fraud? Was it this? Market didn't like that. The market didn't like Trump trying to say that it was a push on democracy, corruption, and so on. That's the last thing we want. Because what have I been telling you? Regardless, you're going to wake up the next day and go to work. Of who's president. You're at work. Whether you're happy or not, who cares? Nobody cares. Because the markets are moving on, and it's moving on in a positive fashion. Yes, it matters who's president. I get it. I say it doesn't matter because the markets will adapt, but I get it, right? Let's just say somebody was in office and all of a sudden inflation continues. Well, that prices are going to continue going up. That's less you have to save. Let's say taxes went up. Well, that's more money out of your pocket. Oh, by the way, less you have to save for investments or less that you can put aside. Let's say corporate taxes go up. Well, they're going to pass that cost upon you. But your prices are going to go up, form of fiscal policy, which is, again, less money you have saved. What if immigration is good or bad? Immigration is good for America. We are built in a country and a society of immigrants. Hence why freedom of religion is so important here. We need that. If it's low-skilled labor, well, great. We can get low-skilled labor, which brings our costs lower. If it's higher-skilled individuals, hell, Elon Musk is an immigrant. He's done little good for this world. I think we all can agree whether you love them or hate them. Crime. I right now live in Southern California. I used to go with my wife to downtown LA for some nice dinners. I don't go to downtown LA anymore. Controlling crime is also important. You get what I'm saying? It matters who's president as they set the precedent of how the president, sending the president, of how things are going to go moving forward and the initiatives that they are going to push. So yes, it matters, but markets and people adapt. My money didn't disappear, the one that I was just going to go and spend dinner on. I have more delivery services sent to the house. I spend more time and we have like picnics, me and the family, in the backyard or at our local park, trying to live the normal American dream of just spending time together. We go more Chuck E. Cheese now versus a really nice dinner. Ironically, it's about the same cost with all the games and so on. Those are expensive pizzas. But you have to find the silver lining in everything. And right now, based on certain policies, right? If every policy was poor for our current president, Trump, then nobody would vote for him. There was some positive policies, and you can see that right now with the direct impact of the stock market. Don't be so negative and so hasty on the world is coming to an end because a bigot is president. What you have, or say America has come down and been ruined because we voted a criminal, right? Look, I read this and it was like the biggest comeback, historic comeback. I wanted to read this because it says Trump will remain in office for the next 4 years after losing the 2020 election, right? So here's the comeback. He lost the 2020. He attempted to overturn the results. He faced 2 presidential impeachments. Prior to him, it was only Clinton with 1, a criminal conviction, and many other criminal charges. I think like what, 34, 37 criminal charges? Something crazy, right? So I get it. Harris, disappointed, speaking at Howard University. She was there really conceding the election, whether she wants to or not. But the idea is there should be a goal of uniformity. Some people were saying that's Trump's biggest problem, is it separates the country. I think we can argue this country has been felt separated probably during Trump's administration in 2016 and arguably during the Obama administration as well. I think now we have to take a look at how we can move forward and how as a whole we can calmly share our thoughts together. Because the one thing we can agree today is the day after President Trump got elected and forward, the markets participated positively. We want to be able to at least agree that the results of the election, not because of Trump run, has had a positive impact on our economy. Look, everybody's 401ks should be up. Investment accounts should be up. The sentiment of our nation is happy right now by the fact we know who our president is. And there is no chaos like what happened 4 years ago. No riots. No people jumping on stage saying this was fraud. At the end of the day, positivity wins. Have that positive effect and don't let it skew your investment decisions. Keep a clear mind when you're making that stance. Folks, I'm going to go on a quick break. When we come back, I'm going to talk more about these elections and the impact it has on you. Be right back after a few words. This is Gabriel Shahin, Certified Financial Planner and President of Falcon Wealth Planning. We wanted to offer you a free financial assessment for listening to the show so you can help relate it to your specific situation. We offer multiple services such as retirement planning, where you are today, how retirement looks like, talking about Social Security, real estate, planning, even if you own a business, talking about taxes, not just how to save money today, but also throughout retirement. Talk about investments, making sure you're avoiding those high fees, costs, commissions, and also estate planning and insurance, just making sure you're properly protected if, God forbid, something were to happen. And we're offering 1 to 2 meetings, 1 to 2 hours of our time at no cost. Give us a call. We would love to help. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, and fill out the form fill right there on our site. We would love to help you in your financial situation. We look forward to serving you. Welcome back, folks. This is Gabriel Shahin, Certified Financial Planner, your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth. We are talking about Trump becoming president of the United States, number 47. Number 45 and 47, I add. Very similar to Grover Cleveland, where he has also took a little gap year in between, when from 1985 to 1989, he was our president. And then again in, did I say 19? 1885 to 1889, and again in 1893 and 1897. So he was our president-elect. And so this is just a tone of people having the nostalgia moments of, hey, life was good in 2016 to 2020. And then, of course, COVID happened. And then some people didn't like what was happening during the COVID era and made the post-COVID era from 2021 to 2024. Yes, I get it. It was not positive things that were happening. People were annoyed and people were upset. I understand. But we have to understand also there were positive things that happened during the Biden administration. For example, 2021, 2023, and 24, 3 out of 4 years, the stock market was positive. Okay. We've had some stability at the office where there wasn't much drama. There wasn't much, there was some maybe name calling, but at the same point, there was done it with a more calming and less hatred and aggressive behavior. There was also a stance of trying to unite our country, so much so where it affected our southern borders, where we tried to unite too much the world. Yes, there was some, whether you're for or against it, there was support on the Israeli side against the Hamas and Hezbollah, along with the Ukraine support against Russia. Now, there's a counter argument to that, are not happy with that type of support and said, we could have gone in a little bit more. There is so many things that you could do that says it was poorly handled. I get it. But the idea is there was some stability throughout that time. Yes, there was high inflation during that time. I get it, but we also spent a boatload of money during the Trump administration as well. Was it completely Biden's fault? So you have to think about that in almost everything. Sometimes you do inherit some problems. With that being said, the way certain things were handled, certain money that was spending, there was points of time almost $500 billion was spent in less than a month. That is not sustainable. So the idea and the logic, and I've heard this from multiple people, is having a president who's ran corporations, billion-dollar corporations, actually keeps their eye on the profit and loss statement. They do not just think of it as a blank check. So think of the silver lining there. You remember the good old, you're fired from The Apprentice. So there is some idea of holding people accountable. Now, there's two sides to this, where it's too early to tell. But the bigger commentary is this. It looks like the Republicans, who now have the presidency, have the Senate. Let's say, too early to fully finalize, let's say they have the House. They have all three, where they're really in power. So this is the time where President Trump could actually deliver on his promises. He has nothing standing in his way, whether it's through executive order, whether going through and passing something through the House and the Senate. Republicans have control for the next 2 years. So he can go down as maybe the top 10 president of all time if he just does what he said he was going to do. Very few things that he said, people are like, oh my gosh, that's terrible news. Like what, protecting our border from criminals crossing? Who would disagree with that? They're not against immigration, they're against illegal immigration. So I actually would judge President Trump on the first 2 years of his presidency to see what he can achieve. Now, the interesting part of this whole thing is he can be maybe a top 10 president of all time if he delivers. He can arguably be one of the worst presidents of all time if he doesn't deliver, because then what were you doing? Maybe a top 3 or 4 worst presidents, or bottom 3 or 4 worst presidents, if in fact doesn't do anything. These are the things that you have to take into consideration. Arguably, it's more important than the presidency if the Republicans have control of the Senate and the House. That is one lopsided political agenda. Now, agenda is what? The agenda we're hearing is they want to make America great again. What does that mean? We've gone forward on so many different issues. From an economic point of view, we want what? Let's just think about it, because we look at so much macro piece. From a micro piece, what do we want? We want stability in our jobs. We want costs to be controlled. We want to have freedom in our lives, and we want to feel safe, whether it's domestically or outside of the country with wars. We don't ask for so much. Yes, we want extra money in our pocketbooks, whether that's making more, whether it's tax savings, more net take-home income, or saving more, less that we have to spend, right? Gas prices used to be $3, now they're $4. Whatever the case may be. So we always have to take a step back, regardless of how we feel or if we like somebody. I'm sure you had a boss one time you did not like. You had a coworker one time you didn't like. I'm sure you had somebody at school one time that was annoying and you did not like. But at the end of the day, the show must go on. Let's not put ourselves in such a situation where we cannot operate. By the way, folks, if we're just joining, it's Gabriel Shahin, certified financial planner and your host of More Knowledge, More Wealth, here on every weekend talking about all important topics of personal finance. And today I wanted to talk to you about the basic concepts of Humanity 101. Certain things you're going to like, certain things you're not going to like. Do not let the things that you don't like affect the things that you like. What do I mean by that? Don't have a miserable life. There is another side to it where you can have some enjoyment. Please look at the positive of life. You deserve it. Please look at ways that you can enhance what you're doing based on the current presidency. You have more money in your accounts. Enjoy it. You may not like what he says. Try to ignore it. Truly, when he talks, he's not talking to you. He's not talking about you. The goal is in their mind, whether it was Harris is trying to run for president or President Trump, who is president. Their goal was trying to make America a better country. Nobody has the intention to leave office to say that they are the worst president in the history of America. Their job is to make it better prior to when they came in. I think we can agree a lot of people hasn't liked what has happened from 2020 to 2024. There's been a lot of things that feels like it's regressed. There's been a lot of things that have progressed. And in a crazy world, every presidency has things that have progressed and regressed because it's in their view what's better for America. But from an investment point of view, all of this is secondary. These secondary things have impact on your investment portfolios. I get it. But what you don't want to do is act in a way where you do not have any type of participation. I have a family member of mine. He is a die-hard sports fan, absolutely sports fan. He gets emotionally upset when his team loses. Do you know what he does? He actually puts $20 up to $100 on the other team winning. So if the other team does win, he at least makes $20 or $100. I'm not here condoning betting at all. As we saw the whole poly market thing, there was a betting online for the elections, which is not available here, at least in my home state of California. But the idea is it's their way of hedging the bets. Look at the way of hedging the bets, because throughout a majority of presidents that are elected, the stock market goes up during that 4-year period. So to make that your constellation, invest money. Put the money that you have off the side, put it to work. Why? Because majority of the time, after a 4-year period, it should be positive. And this way, if it does go up, you can have some positivity in it that says, you know what, hate the president, but at least he made me money. What you don't want to do is double down. For example, I hate the president. I think the market's going to go down. I'm going to short the market. The market keeps going up. You are like now in depressed. You're not just upset. Because not only are you upset that person's in office, but now you lost money in the process. Well, the people who were on the sideline thinking they were smart lost money. in just one day. Think about it. People put their money in a savings account earning 45% a year. In one day, their portfolios are up over 3% in one day. You get what I'm saying, guys? Don't outsmart it. What you should be doing is putting yourself in a position to participate always and remove politics and investing. As Warren Buffett says, and I've been saying it, any professional with experience would condone. Do not mix your personal beliefs with your investing in regards to politics. I get some people with religion. I get some people with things that really are dear to them. I understand. But when it comes to politics, from a macro perspective, it doesn't matter. Companies always find a way to prosper. That was a fast show, folks. I want to thank you for tuning in with us this weekend. You can always reach out to myself or any one of our colleagues here at Falcon Wealth Planning. Our phone number is 855-963-2526. That's 855-96-FALCON, like the bird. Or visit our website at falconwealthplanning.com. That's falconwp.com for short, where you can go and visit our Knowledge Center, which redirects you to YouTube. We have over 1 million views, folks. And if you want us to discuss anything on YouTube, on the show, whatever, send your inquiry to radio@falconwp.com. That's radio@falconwp.com. And if you want this episode, any one of our previous episodes, you can go on podcast, Spotify. We have them all there. And folks, we want to thank you for your trust. We want you to feel free and feel comfortable to reach out with any questions that you have.